Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about when women play games by being hot and then cold. Okay, so if you're dating a woman who sometimes is hot then cold, what you've got to realize about this is that usually with women who have hot and cold behavior, it's best to assume and it's best to realize as well that if someone take mixed signals basically as a no, right? That's a great quote that I saw on the internet somewhere, right? Take mixed signals as a no, okay? Because usually with women who have hot and cold behavior, sometimes, in fact, the things that I've seen mostly when people come to me, right, about this kind of issue, where because of this is where I get most of my clients from. Most of the clients have the same issue, okay? And the issue is usually this. They've started to date a woman and things were going really, really well. And then all of a sudden they weren't going so well, right? All of a sudden she started to lose interest and things suddenly started to not be as good as they once were, right? They may have had a couple of successful dates. Things look like going really well, maybe heading towards a relationship. And then all of a sudden, almost out of nowhere, she starts to lose interest. Right, and this confuses a lot of the guys that I teach, and sometimes women as well, because I've had some women come to me with the same issue, who are in like lesbian couplings. Right, the issue usually is with this is that someone came back in the picture, like an ex. Right, most of the time an ex has come back into the picture. Okay, which is quite odd, because it seems to be it's a very similar pattern. Right, so basically what's happened here is that she was dating a guy that she really liked, right? But because she has more feelings for the ex, because she spent more time with the ex, that's what you got to realize. This is why you can't become sort of like resentful or hurtful towards this woman, because if you've spent a long time with an ex, right, because you had a long relationship with them, or you just spent just more time with them, you have more emotional investment in that person, okay? You have more emotional investment in that ex. So of course, right, if she started dating you or she started dating someone, you know, if someone starts dating you and they've only spent a few hours with you, let's say you've only been on a couple of dates, so they've literally, like physically only spent a few hours with you, of course, if their ex comes back in the picture, they're still going to have confused feelings about them because they've spent more time with them. They may even go back to their ex, or maybe the case that they just feel a bit weird because their ex came back into the picture, right? And they're now having to display hot and cold behavior because they're still not sure how they feel, or their feelings have just got really, really confused because their ex has come back into the picture, okay? So this kind of one of those things that you got to realize that if someone is displaying hot and cold behavior, it's usually because someone else is in the picture. And it may not even be an ex. It could be that they just someone that they like more, or someone who they've spent more time with. It doesn't have to be an ex, right? Is talking to them, and because they've got more feelings for that person than they do you, of course, naturally they're going to pick that person over you. So if you think of it in this term, like imagine that you have an ex, right? Let's say you've got an ex who you spent a lot of time with, who broke up with you, but you didn't want to break up with them. And then suddenly you start dating again. And let's say you have a few good dates with this new person, but your ex comes back and says they want to be with you again. If you still have strong feelings for your ex, then you're going to pick the ex, okay? Another thing that can happen with this as well, though, which is not as common, strangely enough, is that with the hot and cold behavior that women display, sometimes it could be that, you know, she was interested, went on a few dates with you, but then she realized that she didn't really have feelings for you. Because that's the whole point of dating, right? You go out with someone to figure out, well, to see where things go, essentially. Right, so she may go on a date with you. She may like you to begin with, but the more she gets to know you, the more she may start to see you as just a friend or someone she's just not that interested in having in their life, which is fair enough, because I'm sure you've met people, or you've been on dates with women, or you've started talking to girls, whatever it may be, that you was really interested in, and then as you got to know them, you realized that you weren't quite the right fit, or that, you know, perhaps they may even be really good looking really good looking, but, you know, you just didn't have that spark, that spark sort of faded once you got to know them, right? So you shouldn't feel bad about a woman losing interest in you or becoming hot and cold, right? Because most of the time it's not actually your fault. Most of the time you probably actually have done the right things, right? But unfortunately, she had feelings for someone else, or she just realized that she just didn't really like you that much. And you shouldn't take it personally, because in fact she's doing you a favor, because it's better to be with someone who actually really wants to be there, right? It's not a good idea to force that person, or for them to force themselves to be with you, because if they do that, then they're going to be miserable, and it's not going to be a very happy relationship for you either. You're both going to be miserable, because you're not going to be with someone who really wants to be there, and there's someone who doesn't want to be there. Okay? So she's doing you a favour. So don't ever feel bad about women who act and behave this way, or women that just completely lose interest in you altogether, right? Because they're offering you a gift. They're saying, look, I'm going to give you my absence now, because you are destined for someone else. I'm not the one for you. Okay, so you should just see it as a gift, right? Don't see it as a bad thing, or there's something wrong with you. Now, of course, there may have been some things that you did to put them off, maybe. But usually, with a woman that really, really likes you, you can make a lot of mistakes, okay? And they will still like you. Let's say you over pursued. Let's say you got too cheesy, right? And she wasn't quite ready for it. A woman that really, really likes you, she's going to let you do some of these things, right? She's going to let you mess up a couple of times, okay? She's going to allow you to do a couple of unattractive things because they are so into you, right? So if you've just done one thing wrong, so let's say you sent her flowers way too soon than when you should have had, right? And that's when she started to lose interest in you. That's when she started to back off from you. If she really, really liked you, it wouldn't have mattered too much if you had sent flowers too soon. Okay, it shouldn't have mattered that much. Okay, so it's one of those things. So you've got to be focusing then your attention on women that are really, really into you, that are not displaying hot and cold behavior. Because if you waste your time on women that are, you know, hot and cold, and you keep on trying to pursue women that are hot and cold with you, you're just going to go around in circles, and you're not going to get anywhere, and you're just going to waste your time. It's always best to waste your time and to spend time on women who are totally interested in you. So what that means, when you ask them out, they say yes, they show up. They're not hot and cold. They are there, right? Which may be frustrating, because sometimes a lot of the women that you may come across may be hot and cold. So it can be a bit difficult, right? It's very rare when you meet a woman who you're totally into, and they're totally into you, because it can be the opposite. It can be that you start dating a woman, right? And it could be that she's really, really into you, but you're not quite there. You don't feel that way. Maybe you're hot and cold, okay? Sometimes it can work both ways. So it's just sort of like it's a bit of a tedious game. It's a bit of a tedious process when you're trying to find someone to settle down with, because you are going to come across women that are hot and cold. Sometimes you're going to be hot and cold. Sometimes you're going to find women that are really into you and you're just not feeling it. And sometimes you're going to be really into a woman and she's not going to quite be feeling it. But you've got to always let those connections go. Okay? Because it may be the case, if you let go of a woman who is displaying hot and cold behavior, right? And you start to give her more space, and you back off, and you message less, you stop asking her out. You know, if you do those things, it may be the case that she may change her mind. She may change her feelings about you. And because you've given her space to do so, and she's had that space to think about you, perhaps she's like, oh yeah, you know what, actually I did really like that guy. I'm going to start pursuing him again. I'm going to reach out to him and see what he's doing, because maybe I did actually like him quite a lot. But maybe it was just too soon to begin with. Perhaps they have a change of heart, right? So sometimes it's a little bit of a juggling game with women that are hot and cold. But another thing that you've got to be wary of as well is that there are some women out there that just want your attention, right? They just like the fact that you're there, the fact that they can get a meal out of you because you ask them out, or they can get a free drink out of you, or you'll come and fix something of theirs or something like that. Or maybe they just like the validation that they're beautiful because you keep on pursuing her, right? It could be that she's just stringing you along because she likes that validation, right? And some women are like that. Not all women, obviously, but some women are like that. Some women just want your attention, okay? So if you're dealing with a woman who, when you ask her out, she doesn't say yes, or she tries to friend zone you, or like I said, she's displaying this hot and cold behavior, it's best to back off and to not pursue her anymore, and to only focus your attention on those women that are reciprocating, that are enthusiastic about you, that are not hot and cold, they're just hot 24/7, okay? So it's always best to try and find a woman like that, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.